Facebook. What's going on? Got to you sooner than later. But this is Life in Basketball. We're on location. We're on location today. Life in Basketball. So get the sun out my face. But you all know that if you try to put your camera in the light, it makes you not seen. So if you're ever doing something with a camera, you want to kind of be in the element, not really with the sunlight right in front of you. But plug in real quick. All right. So this is Life in Basketball. What up, Cynthia? How you doing? Episode 8. So I am Carvel Bailey. I am the president and CEO of Bless the Ball Skill Development Academy. We are a full year round skill development company where we enhance the mental, physical, social, emotional, psychological, spiritual, cognitive development of individuals, and we use the game of basketball as a vehicle to do so. This show, Life and Basketball, we bring practical life skills with basketball skills, and we make them make sense. Show is brought to you by this book, my book, Understanding the Game of Basketball, A Guide to Effective Leadership and Coaching. Say it again. If you don't have the book, go pick it up. If you don't have the book, go and pick it up. It's not a book to tell you how to play basketball, but it's a guide to effective leadership and coaching, help you with leadership and coaching. So today, basically, going to kind of be all interactive for roughly 7 episodes. I've kind of given you all little tidbits of the book. And now if you want some more, you got to go pick it up. So now basically Life in Basketball, we'll just kind of talk basketball and bring it, with life. So we know that today is game 4 of the NBA Finals. And Cleveland Cavaliers are down 3-0. So this could be the last of NBA for this season as we know it. But the good thing is that Ice Cube's 3-on-3 is coming around, so it will be summer basketball this year other than WNBA because we don't really have the Olympics going on. But, everybody's been talking about Cleveland. Everybody's been talking about LeBron, talking about Michael Jordan, and I don't even get into all those conversations because certain things, it's an old saying, what's understood don't need to be explained. I've never got into those debates. I get tagged in all those posts. LeBron is good, but in my eyes, he would never be the greatest of all time. You have to understand what you're saying, the greatest of all time. No, that won't happen. Shout out to LL Cool J too. All right, people don't understand. LL Cool J is really the first one that came up with that term, GOAT. He considered himself the GOAT. All right, but basically today I see Jerome on, I see Billy Rush on. So today, man, I'm gonna just talk about like just stories of people that I've coached, things that I've seen. And I don't know if these guys are on, gonna stay on, but since they on, we're gonna talk about them. Quick story about Billy Rush. Billy Rush from Thornridge. Everybody know. Billy Rush went down to Iowa, came back to South Suburban. I was present to be able to meet him. Jerome, I'm about to tell a story about you in a minute. Billy came to South Suburban, and the story we tell all the time was that we went down to Lake County, and Lake County had us down almost 20 at halftime. And the head coach was riding Billy, took Billy out in the second half, And, he like, I'm not putting you back in. He like, Carvel, let me know when Billy ready. And so, me always being a player's coach, right? Billy kind of nudged me, and now I'm sick because I'm like, dude, I know what you can do, and like we out here just totally bad. Mind you, we maybe ranked third or fourth in the country at that time. We playing a team that's not even ranked, okay, and on a Saturday, and Billy nudged me like, Coach, tell him that I'm ready. And I'm basically ignoring Billy because as an assistant coach now, I have to, try to let my presence be felt and my disdain for what you're doing also because, like I had a particular relationship with Billy back, then. I think I still do, but I would give Billy like books, basketball books to read and, things of that nature, Billy like, and to help him as an individual, right? Because he's always been a great guy. So, Billy like, Coach, man, tell him that I'm ready. Coach like, is he ready? I'm like, no, Billy like, like, damn, like I thought we was cool. Like, and Billy like, Coach, tell him I'm ready. Now we getting drugged. And, Coach like, is he ready? I'm like, no, he ain't ready, Coach, because, and every time I said, I could see Billy like fuming, man, tell him put me in, right? So finally at about the 12-minute mark, we down maybe 28. Billy, Coach like, is he ready? I'm like, yeah, he ready. Because, I can see, he went from fidgety to just that stillness. And when a player has that stillness, that means focused. And so Billy had this stillness about him. And he was like, is he ready? We down 28. I'm like, yep. Coach put Billy in. Billy goes for like 25 in the second half. We wound up winning by like 8, right? Coach was first half. You ain't Division I. Billy had almost every school in the country at one point, right, wanting Billy. Coach, getting in him. You're not D1. Like, Billy showed everybody in Cook County and Lake County and NJCAA that day that he was all deserving of his preseason All-American, and he was everything that everybody had thought that he would be, right? Like we played Prairie State the first game. That was Billy's homecoming from Iowa. South Suburban Gym was packed out. I mean, packed out to see Billy Rush. And so, like, Billy, like, totally went off, like, second half, like, 25, and I don't know how many boards, and, after the game, he like, man, I thought you weren't going to never tell him put me in. I'm like, I had to just wait, because that was my way of continuing to form that relationship. So, yeah, Billy Rush has it. If you haven't been watching him, still playing pro ball, Billy Rush got it. So I coached Billy when I was at South Suburban. Jerome Moore, coached Jerome as a freshman at Hyde Park, and Jerome at this point was maybe 6'5", 6'6", and loved to shoot threes. And I mean, silky smooth dude. I was fortunate enough to coach him freshman year. And now, mind you, my freshman team, I had like Jerome Moore, I had Malcolm Griffith, Martel Jackson. Like, we had a power team. That was probably my most talented team, but I tell everybody that was my worst year as a coach. That was my worst year as a coach because we finished 500. We finished 15-15. First playoff game, we lost to Bogan. Fred Schofield was coaching Bogan at that time. A whistle happy ref threw me out in the first half. Like, that was my worst coaching year ever, but I had the best players, so you understand, like, I talk about in the book, you got to understand your personnel, and as you coach, you learn and you get better. I wanted to stick with my system, but I had players that I should have ran a different system with, but it was like, no, it's my way or the highway. And we won, but we weren't as successful as possible. But, so Jerome left, Hyde Park came back, and then he went out to school in New Mexico. And I heard he was coming home, and I got on the phone with him, and I'm like, Big Daddy, what you gonna do? I said, hey, I just got the job at Malcolm X. Like, you already know that I want you. There's no need to even come, it's nothing to talk about. So Jerome, like, let me figure it out, coach, because most Chicago players don't like to stay home. And, so finally, I'm like, look, Telly was at Truman, Martel Jackson, he coming with me. So your point guard is already with me. And he like, okay, so, I got my point guard working on him, right? Because I always say, and I made a post in a group um, a couple weeks ago. Players go to play for coaches. They don't go to schools. It really don't matter what school you at. Players going to play for that coach, right? So when I always talk about relationships, you got to have relationships with your players, or if you're a leader, you got to have relationships with people. Okay, because unlike a job, most people will go to a job because they need to get paid, right? They need money. But players go and play for coaches. And then they also want to play with other players, right? So in the real world, people will go to that job to make money, but they would like to work at that job if they know people that work at that job, to make the job a little bit more fun. So nevertheless, Jerome come and we are first game of the season, and I mentioned it 2 weeks ago or last week on one of the episodes. We run it, right? Anybody has ever played for me as a head coach understands that we run until I get tired, like really, and I'm not even running with them. But my teams are in the best shape possible, right? Not only physically, but mentally, because I run my teams crazy because they have to be here, right? That was that whole point of Billy, right? If I would have told coach to put Billy in, then Billy probably would have, he would have been so anxious. But when he had that stillness, that's like, you know what? I got it now. Like I'm ready. And so we running, and people like, man, why you got them running so much preseason? Whatever. Now mind you, Jerome, I didn't start a drill called loose ball charge drill. Every practice, my teams did loose ball charge drill. Okay, to where they had to dive for a loose ball and they had to take a charge every practice. And so, Jerome, he was at Hyde Park, but they wasn't doing none of that, right? And so he goes away to New Mexico, probably still wasn't doing none of that. So he come back with his boys, and his boys like, man, this is what we do, and so it took him a while to get broken in with it. But so we're playing Highland. Highland is like ranked in the country. Highland is well known, established school, and the former coach scheduled Highland first game of the season. I'm like, man, when I first got a job, I'm like, man, I need to like push that game back because, man, we're going to be, first game. And I say, okay. And so Highland had a 7-footer. He was supposed to go to Marquette or somewhere, supposed to be real good. And so, I'm pumping my team up all week in practice like, Rome, he going to kill you, man. He's 7 foot. You can't do that. Game start, jump ball, Rome get in the middle. And, Jerome Moore is good for doing this, right? Rome get in the middle and like, he say, coach, I got him. And we had already established that in pregame. Jerome get in the middle. Coach, I got him. That set the tone in the door. Like, we're on the west side of Chicago. Like, dude, y'all from Freeport, Illinois. I got him. And now this dude, I think, was from Milwaukee, maybe, whatever. And so that set the tone. So we going back and forth. And so Highland is up. And pivotal point in the game, here's a lesson for all leaders or just anybody in general. In basketball terms, we call it game-changing plays, momentum swingers. In life, certain things you have to have a life-changing event or a momentum swinger. If you're going down in the, if you're not having a bad day, you have to have a momentum swinger. It could be a phone call. It could be a song, something that you heard, that you read, you doing something for somebody doing something for you. You have to be able to find those little things. Sometimes people may call them like ghetto blessings, right? But you have to find those things that are going to be a momentum swinger in your life, a game changer. So literally, Jerome is like at the free throw line playing defense. Somehow it's a loose ball. The ball rolls in front of our bench. Now we're on the opposite side. The ball is at which would be the 3/4 court, the other free throw line that the team has the ball. It's a loose ball. Jerome is run down. And mind you, Jerome's 6'7", right? Jerome's 6'7", probably 220, maybe 210. Jerome is running down court next to this guard for Highland, right? Mano y mano. Jerome takes off literally at the hash mark right in front of me, coach's box, hash mark. And Jerome takes off and Jerome slides for the loose ball that's damn near about to go out of bounds on the baseline. I picture it. He slides from the hash mark. And we do this drill every day in practice, right? Like, I didn't see the game the other day, but Durant said, I've been practicing that shot my whole life. But we have been practicing that drill for almost 8 weeks. Jerome takes off from the hash mark and slides and stops almost at the block, like even with the block on the free throw line, and saves the ball. Highland was broke at that point because they like, man, if this dude can do this. So like Jerome Moore's story is just to go to show you that you can put yourself in position to change a game. You can put yourself in position to change your life. As a leader, you can put yourself in a position to change your team. Now, this team was done for. It started out with Jerome being, from Pocket Town, and I got him like I'm tough. But then it went to not only am I talking about it, but I'm gonna show you I can get on the ground for this ball. And that broke their whole spirit. And it was over with, and that's not even talking about the number of times where, his silky smooth jump hook and, he like, Coach, I'm killing him, just all type of other things. So that's Jerome's story. I didn't get a chance to coach this guy. I don't even know if he's still on, but LB, Lawrence Burnett, good friend of mine, he actually used to come and practice with us, right? He used to call me, hey, Vale, man, I got some players for you. Again, it's great to have relationships. You have to have relationships with people. And if people know that you will take care of people, all right, here's a hint for any parent that watches this. All right, I want to give you a game. Free game right now. It's a difference in a recruitable athlete and a placed athlete. I want you to understand that. There's a difference in a recruitable athlete and a placed athlete. A recruitable athlete is when that coach goes in that gym and they just recruit any kid that they think that can help them. A placed athlete is someone specifically and intentionally given to you or put on your team, or I'm not going to say given to you, but entrusted to you to be in your program, to put on your team. That's what a place player is. So here's the thing. Place players are more taken care of than recruitable players. All right, listen to me. A former college head coach, right? Listen to me. A place player has more stock than a recruitable player. And here's why. Because that recruitable player, I'm coming to get you. So it's just me and you, right? And if with most coaches, if I'm recruiting you, I'm going to give you my best me. That's just what it is. I'm going to give you my best me. Now, some coaches will be real with you. And, they will, as a head coach, I lost more players than I got because I'm a teacher. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to tell you about the rules. I'm going to tell you everything. And if it's a better situation for you, then by all means, go do that. If you can find a better situation than what I can offer you based on whatever, school that I might be at, whatever. If that's what you go do it. But again, players play for coaches. So if you want to leave and go do that because you're looking at a school, then it's going to be like a boomerang. You're going to wind up right back at home or whatever. But that place player, they have a little bit more stock because when that recruitable player, when things don't go well, and that coach and that recruitable player is not getting along, it's no equity. But when a place player has an issue, that coach can get on the phone and call the person that placed them with them. Understand that. So now we got a little bit of equity because I can get on the phone and say, LB, you need to talk to your man. Or LB, your boy didn't go to class today. Now that don't mean that I need LB to be his disciplinarian, because I'm gonna do that as the head coach. I'm gonna take care of what I need to take care of, even as an assistant coach. Getting back to with when I was an assistant with Billy Rush, right? If some things happen, right, everything don't always come back to the head coach. Everything don't need to come back to the head coach as an assistant coach, right? Now, as a head coach, I don't want to know everything, but handle it. Being a leader, I'm going to entrust those with me, because as a head coach, my job is to make my assistant coaches prepared to be head coaches. If I'm not preparing my assistant coaches to be head coaches, I'm not a good leader. If I'm not, as a business owner, whatever, if I'm not helping those that are working for me, preparing them to one day own their own company, I'm not doing my job as a leader. So I'm saying all that to say, a recruitable player, the coach has a little bit more equity, because it's more than just him or her that can take care or say, talk to that player, get that player right. So in LB's case, now I'm talking to the player. I redirected, disciplined, whatever, congratulated, even on the positive side, right? Hey man, your boy got a 3.0, right? Like, I'm telling you, you need to take care of him, because I can't give no money, nothing like, but take care of him. We're gonna celebrate the positive, we're not just gonna kick you, we're gonna hug you too. So like, that's what Lawrence Burnett always was with me, when I was at Malcolm X. Now, a whole lot of his kids didn't come, and unfortunately for them, they didn't come. I mean, unfortunately for them, they didn't come because they thought that they could get more. But he did have a few that did some great things. But anyway, but LB used to come and play with us. Now here's a guy, he don't really have no affiliation, not on the coaching staff. So, on Saturdays he can get out there and play, and like, oh man, you garbage. Like he's gonna do what I'm gonna do, but I gotta play the outside, because I'm just sitting back watching how I've built up their mentality. Because after this older man, right, get done killing them with a bad knee and telling you how bogus you are, or what y'all ain't gonna do, now I'm gonna see if you want to treat him like the dude on the street and get ready to fight, or if you're gonna just play and be like, all right, like, dude, one, you ain't in as good shape as me. One, I can play, I know the game, and you in my house. So, but then after the game, a guy like LB, when they getting dressed, he'll talk to them and, do all that. You got to have people in surrounding your program, your business, that's good for business. You can't have people in your business that's not good for business. Be it player, coach, manager, girlfriend, whoever, stat man, whatever. Even in business, that's how it is. So, if anybody want to type in the chat, I can talk about, any player. Like, so, I see my man Damien on. Coach Phil, what up, man? So, I see you. So when I was at UIC, I was a walk-on at UIC, right? I transferred from Aurora University, Division III, and I had a goal to play Division I. Never had the opportunity, but I said, I'm gonna play Division I. So I was a walk-on at UIC, and I was there, Coach Jimmy Collins' first year when he got there, actually, and I will always remember this. And Coach C is a great mentor of mine. I don't want to say friend, but we still talk. I mean, I'm one of his former players. Um, but Coach C got the job on my 21st birthday. Well, he had his press conference March 27th, 1996. I'll never forget that. My 21st birthday. Um, and I probably never forget it because I was 21, right? So I was legal. I'm like, but I got to go to this press conference first because, again, I have to make my presence known. Like, I went with the old team, right? It was March, so the season had just ended. The old coach had got fired. They brought in Coach C. So I had to put myself in position to be seen, right? He didn't necessarily know who was on the team, but I know I'm coming to UIC. Like when I left Aurora, I said I'm going to UIC because I had buddies there, right? I'm going to UIC to be on the team. So I went to the press conference, sat with the players. Afterwards, Coach called everybody up in the stands in the pavilion and talked to them. And I went and sat with them because, I hung out with them anyway, right? And just a tidbit. Sometimes you got to put yourself in position. Sometimes you have to put yourself in position. And like all these shows, really, I be talking to myself. I just invite y'all in, right? But that's a mouthful. Sometimes you have to put yourself in position. I put myself in position because not only did I go to the press conference, but I was sitting amongst the team. And when he called the team, I was sitting there. He didn't know me from Adam. But then, I wrote him a letter, introduced myself. I had already shook his hand and gave my name, and then I wrote him a letter, told him what I wanted to do, and went and, was on the team, right? I was a preferred walk-on, right? Most, you have walk-ons the way you just try out. Then you have preferred walk-ons where the coach already know you're going to be on the team, but they don't have scholarship for you. So by the time season started, he already knew, okay, I'm going to have Carvel on the team. But I'm saying all that to say when I was at UIC, all right, I played with a guy named Mark Miller. All right, and Mark Miller was probably one of the most impactful basketball players that I've ever played with. Now this dude, 6'1" at best. I think they labeled him as 6'2", maybe 6'1.5". But Mark Miller was a force to be reckoned with because he could score in bunches. He could score from all different areas, all over the court, and he could jump out the gym. So as a walk-on, my job, I had to either guard Mark or our point guard in practice every day, right? And so that made me a much better player because, again, I understand where I was trying to go. So now this is a guy that had his jersey retired. So, I didn't look at it like, man, this dude like a year younger than me, like, I'm gonna kill him, right? Like, and hey, like, Mark, you ain't gonna scare me. We're gonna play with each other, open gym or against each other, but we going head to head. But I mean, this dude was a force, but why was he a force? Because he was always in the gym working. Mark Miller was always in the gym working. And, if like he would go to the gym by himself and be all the way somewhere in the corner and just be working, while everybody else kind of playing full court. And I understand it better now, like Mark played for Chris Head and, just, some different things. But I understand it now. And I tell players that your ratio should be 80-20. Maybe 70-30, but definitely 80-20. And what that is you should be working out 80% of the time, playing 20%, or working out 70% of the time, working 30%. You can't play 60% of the time and only work out 40. You can't play 90% of the time and only work out 10. And just shooting jump shots ain't working out. Newsflash. But this guy would work out intensely, and he had a purpose. And so, like, it pleasured me to be able to guard him or to be able to watch him. You know, Mark Miller has one of the more unique rocker moves ever. And Michael Jordan used to do it like an invert, but that was Mark Miller's rocker move. I don't want to give away his trade secrets, right? So, but let's just know that if you know what a rocker move is, Mark Miller has an invert rocker move, and it would get people every time. So again, I ain't gonna give up his trade secrets because I know Mark still play, but Mark has an inverted rocker step, and it will kill people every time. But like he was a different type of dude because it's 6 foot, 6'1". You're like, okay, normal guard, but okay, get caught up and watch what happens. So that's Mark. You know, anybody type something in, you know, let me know. You know, anybody that you might want to hear about. You know, I tell people I'm humble, but probably 70% of the guys that's out here now that's really come on the scene now, I've either coached them, like as a head coach, as an assistant coach, either in high school, college, grammar school, youth camp. I've done it, you know, coach these guys, and now everybody is, you know, finding out about them. You know, I got my point guard with me now, Martel Jackson. He's probably the most poised basketball player that I've coached other than Stefan Hanna. All right. Martel is probably the second most poised. If you know what poise means, you know, and it would be to the point sometimes where I used to get mad at him because, you know, what Martel would do when we talked about Billy with that stillness, right? When Martel had that stillness, he would, you know, I got a nice shirt on, but, you know, he would put his shirt in his mouth. When he put that, when he put his shirt in his mouth and he'd bring the ball up court or playing, and he didn't do it on defense, just on offense. When he put that in, maybe he didn't even know he was doing it, but when he put that shirt in his mouth, we in good shape. Now, mind you, Martel was on that team with Jerome. He was on that team with Malcolm Griffin, you know, Shank, in high school, right? My worst season coaching, but the best players that I've ever had, the most talent, right? But Martel played for me at Truman, you know, when nobody wanted to come. And, you know, he had a couple things that didn't go through, and he was like, Coach, I'm coming. And his brother was already there with me. And, okay, hey, let's go on this fantastic voyage. And I think we had 9 players. My first year at Truman, we had 7. With his Martel, yeah, I brought a couple more guys in. Started out maybe with 10, 11, finished with 9. And then when we went to Malcolm X, you know, the lights got brighter, and he delivered, you know, like night in and night out. Like Martel Jackson is a coach's point guard. And what do I mean by that? Because he is that guy that's going to lead by example, but when he has to lead by vocally or instruction, then everybody know they done effed up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's more lead by example. You know, even sprints. You know, like, hey, I'm gonna be first because I know I got to be first because I know coach is gonna always be on me, right? You know, so quick story about Telly. You know, freshman year, we're in high school, or you know, he's in a high school, and we're scrimmaging the varsity. And I think this is our second time scrimmaging the varsity because the first time we beat the varsity. It wasn't like my far side beat the varsity. Wasn't supposed to, right? And they called me one day, Telly and his brother Mike. They all called me one day about 6 months ago asked me about that. And they like, you ain't beat us. Like, yeah, we did beat y'all. And coach got mad. But then we played them again. And Martel didn't do something. And I pulled him out. And I told him, just start running. Again, remember I said, like, my teams run till I get tired. I just started running. And he was running so much and for so long to where the head coach turned around and said, he was talking to one of his players. I think he was talking to Mike, Martel's brother. And he was like, why Martel running? And his brother that played for me, Mike, right? He said, because he the point guard, coach. And again, relationships. His brother understood my mentality. Martel's the point guard, and we was getting hammered. So you just come on over here and just start running till I get tired, Shelly. And the head coach at that point in time, after this for so long, he's like, man, why Martel still running? And his brother was like, because he the point guard, coach. So leaders create leaders. And sometimes it takes tough love to create that leader. So I think that one time back in 2005, maybe, no, 2005, that prepared us for 2009 or 2010 because he understood me and I understood him. So when he had that shirt in his mouth, it's time to rock and roll, baby. You know, and it was times where I would hold him back and I would try to let the team do it, you know, and then sometimes I clearly remember when I pulled Martel and his running mate Cartier to the side. We was at Moraine Valley Jamboree. And I had, we had a great team. So I was trying to wait, let these dudes get their roll off. Telly, need you to be the point guard. Cartier, you shoot, when we call a play for you. And then this was my backcourt at Truman that we won a whole lot of damn games, but again, me learning as a coach, trying to put in a system. So it finally came point in time to where we played in Jamboree. We got beat the first game. I pulled him out in the locker room and I said, you know what? The handcuffs are off. And they both looked at me. And at that point in time, my assistant coach, Coach Woods, was like, huh? Like what? And I said, the handcuffs is off. And they looked at one another like, okay. And hey, the handcuffs is off. I gave these dudes a shot. Now I need y'all to run y'all team. And we was off to the races. And like I said, that first game, Jerome Moore, like, I got him, coach. It's on and popping. But yeah, no, Telly is probably the second most poised guard. He's the number one poised guard that I was the head coach of. But just that I coached the second most poised. Not gonna really get rattled. We gonna run that play. I'm gonna score. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. And we're going to compete. And I'm gonna make sure that we compete. I mean, that's it is what it is. So again, anybody want to talk about, put anybody's name in here. If I've coached them, I can let you know a story about them. If I played against them, or any coaches or anything, feel free to, type it in. Hey, this is Life in Basketball, episode number 8, baby. All right, told y'all, if y'all don't have the book, go cop the book. I don't know what you're waiting on. Go cop the book. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my main man, Jameel Harris. All right. Now, this is a guy who was all city, all state, all everything. He was in Texas, came to me, said, Coach, I didn't even know who he was. He called me, said, Coach, man, I'm coming to Truman. I was like, who is this? He like, Jameel. I'm like, Jameel, who? He like, Harris, and he look cocky, little flashy dude, right? And I'm like, from where? He like, Foreman. Now, I remember when we played him back, I think Martel's freshman year, we had a freshman game, sophomore game, varsity game. Or it might have been Martel's brother, freshman year, Mike. So I remember this little dude that was nice. I'm like, okay, so I called my man Tone from CVS. I said, Tone, Jameel Harris, is that? He was like, man, that dude is cold. He was like, he played for Farragut. I mean, for Foreman, right? Terry Head and them. Say, okay. So, you know, Jameel's supposed to come, and we a Division III. Jameel's supposed to come and, you know, get his classes and all that. And then Jameel called me like 2 days later. He said, Coach, now I'm going to be honest with you. He said, man, I got an offer to go to school in Cali. He said, and, you know, he was like, Coach, now I live in K-Town, man. He said, I don't really want to be here. He said, so, you know, I don't want to waste your time. He said, so I'm going to go check them out, see what it is. I was like, okay, you know, and, you know, like, again, we're talking about life, right? Hold it up so y'all can see it. I keep putting it in y'all face. Don't burn bridges in life, okay? You know, Jameel said, Coach, man, I live in K-Town, man. He said, like, I don't want to be here. You know, man, I got to get out of here. I said, okay. I said, you know, I appreciate you letting me know. You know, I said, if anything change, I said, call me. You're always welcome. You know, because now I did my homework on this dude. I need this dude to call me. Again, players play for coaches. This dude to call me, I need this dude. You know, I'm like, man, we would have been nice. So about a week go by, my phone ring. You know, Jameel like, Coach. He said, man, do you still want me? I said, hell yeah. You know, right? Like, I ain't going to sugarcoat it. You know, I could have played hard to get, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when the opportunity presents itself, we can't act like, you know, we tough and don't want it, right? Hell yeah. You know, I said, so what happened in Cali? Like, well, you know, they ain't really good scholarships, man. And, you know, they stuff don't transfer and all that. That's another thing people don't know. You go to school in California, it works out for some, but if they go to school in California, they might as well stay in California until they graduate, because they come back, those credits at that junior college are not transferable to schools in the other 49 states, because California has their own conference and their own league, right? They're not part of the National Junior College Association. Now, I'm just talking junior college. You know, NAI, Division II, Division I, that's a whole different thing. So, you know, Jameel said, man, just, you know, it ain't like the, you know, it wasn't what it's supposed to be, Coach. Come on, you know, Jameel coming now. We are 0 and no, we're 1-10. Our first 10 games, we're 1-10, and that one win was a forfeit. Hear me out, right? We 1-10, and that one win was a forfeit. Imagine when I first got a job at Truman, they said, Coach, we only want you to win one game. Like, we haven't had a program in 12 or 17 years. So we just starting the program out again. We're going to give you an opportunity. You know, you came from a great school, South Suburban and stuff. So, you know, we're going to give you an opportunity. Just win one game. I said, one game? You know, I called my boy Jonell. I said, hey, man, they only told me to win one game. He said, man, you can will them in one game. He was like, you got, you know, just motivate them enough to win one game, and you make your own schedule. Exactly. So, but now it's turned into reality. We ain't won. Like, you know, we only got 7 players. You know, they gave me the job like August 12th. School started like the next week. So I got to call players that I know that's play for me that ain't in college. Like, come on, man, let's put the band back together. You know, but now we got to go through this whole thing that you can only practice 3 days a week. And I'm like, what kind of program is this? Now, I come from a program that finished 5th in the country the year before. My Hyde Park teams were always like conference champions or second in conference, regional champions, and things like that. What kind of stuff is this? So, you know, we got it together at Truman, and, you know, the breaking point with Jameel one day. 2 quick stories about Jameel. You know, we used to run so much, right? Now, here's a dude, funny, all right, leader too. But, you know, Jameel, one day we running so much, and, you know, he never mouthed back, you know, none of that. He lays on the baseline underneath the basket on the pad, and he's stretching, touching his toes. You know, and, you know, I'm playing tough. My first college job, right? Man, y'all got to get up, man, get the hell up. You know, we still running. You know, Jameel, look at me. They might have ran maybe about 30 suicides at that point in time. You know, Jameel, I'm sitting on the scores table. Jameel say, Coach, man, shit, we work with you, man. You gotta work with us. And at that point, I couldn't do nothing but laugh because he was pouring his heart out, and it was funny and it was true. He like, because they work like 30 suicides for real, like, and we ain't saying nothing. He like, man, come on, man, we work with you, so shit, man. Okay, you got to work with us. Okay, so that's when I understood. Okay, this dude is kind of funny, comical, and then we started winning some, but maybe 1-2 games, and Jameel at that point in time was like ranked nationally in the country, assists, steals, and points. And he come to me at the end of practice one day like, Coach, man, I ain't gonna be here tomorrow. I'm like, why? He like, Coach, man, I thank you for all your help. He was like, man, I can't do this. He said, man, I got a baby on the way, Coach. He said, man, this stuff ain't, this ain't getting me nowhere. He said, man, we losing. I ain't gonna be able to go get no scholarship, no place or nothing. And so me and him sat in my office for about an hour and just talking. He like, man, I can go to the streets. He said, I stay in K-Town, Coach, man, nothing for me. I can get some work, start working, and or get a job, do something. But I can't spend 2-3 hours here. And by the time we get out of practice, I'm tired. Ain't nothing happening. I got to provide for my daughter. And I asked him that day, I said, man, can you just trust me? I said, just trust me. We prayed for a minute, and, we, talked and, prayed and did all that. And we wound up winning maybe 10 of our last 12 games. He wound up being ranked, I think, 3rd in the country in points. So if you go look it up, probably on the NJCAA website, but wound up being like 3rd in the country in points. I think 5th in assists and like 6th in steals. Excuse me. So I had a great stat line, right? Probably played about 40 minutes a game, 39 at best. And so he wind up being junior college, second team All-American, wind up getting a scholarship to Chicago State. And again, with those relationships, and wind up graduating. And, he actually works with me in my business, and, things now. Also got 2 beautiful kids, but he sacrificed, right? Again, with just understanding life through the game of basketball, right? Sometimes you got to sacrifice to be able to get those things that you want. Because if you trust God, like, everything will pan out. And so he was, he's that, Jameel is real dear to me because, like, he helped me as a coach understand that, he could have just packed it all in and just left and went back to the streets and hustled or did whatever, but he stuck with it, and it paid off for him. He was able to go around the world, in college, just, to play basketball. So, big ups to Mill, all right? Shorty, is what they call him. I got Alan Magaha. Addison, get him. That just, Mello. My dog trying to escape because it's about to rain. Alan Magaha, they call him Lil Randy. Probably one of the best dudes to never play for me. Yeah, probably one of the best dudes to never play for me. Wound up going to my former school. Should have played for me, right? I always say should have played for me, right? He stayed with me. Addison, can you come and let him in, please? Was with me during the summer and everything, but silky smooth. Another former guard, right? When I had Jameel and treated him right, that Foreman pipeline opened up for me. And so, Lil Randy was, he was 6'4", 6'2", 6'3", legitimate 6'2", 6'3". He was the first dude that I knew that would do a sham god in the game, right? Like summer league or whatever. I'm like, man, this dude is nuts, right? But like he's so long, he could do it. But he was another guy that came back home and tried to get it right. Wind up going to South Suburban and then going and you know, playing. Should have had a much better career, but everybody don't always get the same breaks. So I want you to understand that too. That everybody don't always get the same breaks, but you got to make the most of what you have. So yeah, y'all hear this rain. Come on, Addison. Well, now I got to move. We're on location in the backyard, but yeah. So anybody want me to talk about any basketball player, man? I got about 10 more minutes, and then we over for the day. Hold on, hold that door open, Addison. Woo. So, do anybody had to dodge that rain? So, do anybody have any player that they want to discuss? Want me to tell a story about? I definitely got stories. Any player you want to talk about? We talked about. Told you, Malcolm, hand me that towel right there. Steph, talked about me as a player. Anything, who do I think gonna win tonight? I think probably it's a tough one because I personally think that Golden State will close it out. And I first said it would be 7 games. But here's why. Because what I didn't like was the statement that LeBron James made the other day in the press conference. LeBron James made a statement. He said, I played as hard as I could. I gave it my all. He's too good to not know that you can't do that, right? You can't keep saying, I, especially in public. So, like, how are those dudes now going to come out and play with him? Right? Like, how are those dudes going to respond? Like, man, I ain't rocking with you like that. You think that you're the only one? Like, you can't do that. So I would like to see how they respond, how they act, if they want to play with him tonight. And if they've packed it in, series over. Now if they, J.R. Smith said that his Twitter account got hacked, but why not say Cavs in 7? Be confident about it. It's possible, but you got to take it one game at a time. Got to take it one step at a time. But it'll be interesting tonight. I still think the NBA stands to lose too much money. If they do get swept. But that's just my opinion about everything. So, anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns? Let me know before we sign off. Trying to think if there's any other player that I needed to talk about. Wanted to talk about. Have talked about a whole lot of people that I've coached, played with, played against. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns? We talk about the book. I had to come in the studio. All right, if there's no questions, comments, or concerns, I'm going to put this link down here to the website. I'm going to also put the link to the book. And if you subscribe to my